Hello everyone, welcome to the ConvolutedCube video game channel. I'm going to be playing host today, Mr. Ryan, and I'm here of course with Mr. Randy.
Hello!
Welcome. We are discussing the new release that was released for Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
What is it?
It is Saints Row 4 ReElected.
Oh yeah!
The remastered for the new consoles. Forget about those old ones.
It's out on the old ones.
Yes, if you didn't forget about those old ones, it was out in August of 2013. So they finally gave it to all of us brand new console owners. It is done by Deep Silver as the publisher and Validium and High Voltage as the developers. Much like the older ones, but Deep Silver published it because THQ is gone, unfortunately. So, ReElected, I have not played it. I've only seen a few clips of it, and Randy is here to give us the scoop.
Yeah. So a few things to touch on first. This is the ReElected edition. So this contains all of the DLC.
Perfect.
Okay. So this has Saints Row, all of the extra items, customization options for your character. Also, it includes Enter the Dominatrix.
Special weapons. Wait, Dominatrix?
Yeah, Enter the Dominatrix. That was originally what Saints Row 4 was going to be, and they released it as an expansion pack because it got too big for those bitches.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing that like naked girl they were like implying in like the the trailer.
Yeah. They wanted to do too much. They didn't have time or probably funding to do it. Because THQ was the original publisher back in August, and they went under. Well, that's what happens when you invest all your funding into the U-Draw tablet, and it doesn't work out.
That's another discussion for another time, which we have discussed on numerous occasions.
So let's full disclosure here, because I want to be completely honest. Saints Row is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Saints Row 3 is in my top 5 or 10. I'm not quite sure.
Yep, you've always told me to try them. Something about the poop truck in the third one, I remember. And I told you I would get there eventually, and my roommate dabbled in them, and I did not.
Yeah, I forgot about the poop truck. I need to play those games again.
Yeah, that's the one thing I always remember. You're like, dude, new Saints Row. And I was just like, you just kept telling me about that poop truck, and like that was fun to like you just ruined houses and stuff.
Yeah. It's how much property you can ruin with fecal matter in a given amount of time. It's Saints Row is so good.
It sounds wacky. Good. It sounds wacky.
It is. So Saints Row, for those of you who don't know, it started off as a GTA clone when the original Xbox 360 came out, and Rockstar was working on GTA 5.
And it was way less silly, right?
It was way less silly because this was their first open world game.
That's right.
So when Saints Row 1 came out, it was okay. It was just a standard clone. Nothing special about it. Then GTA 4 came out, and they realized Rockstar's not doing the San Andreas thing anymore. They're going more serious, so why don't we take a stab at the San Andreas stuff? So they went more crazy. Like there was a voodoo gang, and like they shrunk people's heads and stuff.
In the second one?
Yeah, in the second one. That was a little bit crazy.
Right.
And then Saints Row 3, they were just like, screw it, whatever. We're going balls to the wall, crazy now.
Right.
And it was fantastic. Saints Row 3 is probably the best in the series. Saints Row 4, they broke their own game, and it's just like, how crazy can we go? Okay, you're in the Matrix now. You have super speed. You don't need cars anymore.
Right.
We'll get more into that. So, yeah.
So let's start with story then, I guess.
Okay.
How does this one go from silly to crazy to Matrix style? Because this is ReElected, I would assume it has something to do with the president.
Yeah, in Saints Row 4, at the beginning of the game, it's kind of serious. You are the Saints. You are the most powerful gang in the world. And as that, you are hunting your nemesis from Saints Row 3 who survived and is now trying to launch a nuke against the U.S. with the help of Middle Easterners. It's not specifically said the Taliban, but it's implied that it's the Taliban.
That big T word.
Yeah. So you save the day in a great cutscene. It is like the epitome of what Saints Row should be, where you're stopping a nuke and Aerosmith, the song from Armageddon, plays in the background. You know, I don't want to lose my eyes. It's great. It's fantastic.
So the game starts this way.
This is the start of the game. Okay. Yeah, you saving the United States from a nuke. You land in the White House, get elected the president, and the game starts.
Okay.
Then aliens invade. They throw you into the Matrix, and from that point on, you're just running havoc. And this is all in the first 15 minutes. So, spoilers for the first 15 minutes of the game. You should still play the first 15. You should probably just play the game.
Okay, so the beginning is essentially a realistic, or I would say a video game version of Mars Attacks.
Yes.
And you are Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Because you literally just described the plot of Mars Attacks.
I guess so, yeah.
With the exception that you have a gang.
Like the first 10 minutes takes itself kind of seriously, which for those who have played Saints Row 1, 2, and 3, you're like, what the hell is going on? Because it's not supposed to be serious at all. And once the Aerosmith music hits, you're like, okay, we're back.
Okay.
In the Saints Row territory.
Much like Mars Attacks.
Much crazier.
Much like Mars Attacks, where Pierce Brosnan's trying to be like rational and trying to take on the aliens in a rational, scientific sort of way, and then shit goes crazy.
Yeah.
Just saying, they watched this movie literally before they Quicksilver got their hands on it. Okay, go on.
So the story, I don't want to give too many spoilers out. The story is batshit insane. It's crazy. Don't go into it expecting, like, even GTA 5 or GTA San Andreas levels of seriousness. You're not going to get it. This is a game where you are in the Matrix. Stuff is going haywire. You literally have super speed within the first 30 minutes of the game if you want to.
So you're a superhero.
You become a superhero.
Okay, so this and Marvel are best friends, right?
No, because this is so much more vulgar than Marvel. This wouldn't adapt in that world at all.
Not Disney approved, ladies and gentlemen.
The story's good, though. It has some good story beats. You can kind of predict where it goes in places, but they do a really good job of keeping it lighthearted. It's a fantastic story. It's not as good as 3, but it's good.
Have you finished it?
Yeah, I played Saints Row 4 when it first came out.
Okay, how long gameplay was
first run through took me about 26 hours.
Okay, so it's meaty and a lot of craziness with the powers and stuff. Okay, so gameplay wise, is it even worth it to have like weapons and like vehicles or anything like that compared to like other GTA-esque kind of games or even anything in the series?
That's the funny thing that they did with Saints Row 4 is in Saints Row 1, 2, and 3 you need a vehicle.
Right.
Okay. And they introduce a really cool concept at the very beginning of Saints Row 4 when you start going around is you're in the Matrix, so they should be able to just pop stuff in right off the bat, right? So you start getting these vehicles and you can literally like use your cell phone to call in any vehicle that you want. When you get in a vehicle, you hit down on the D-pad, it saves it into your phone, and it teleports the car into you.
Okay.
So you turn into this car, and it works in places where like I'm fighting on a rooftop and somebody knocks me off, and like halfway down I flip my phone and I have a plane saved in there, and I stop in midair, turn into a plane, and I'm back off. Okay. That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, it is.
The weird thing that they do is they completely just they make all of that obsolete in 45 minutes, because once you get super speed, there's no reason to have a car.
That's one of the few footages that I've seen. Yes.
Once you get super
you can fly,
speed,
right?
You can't fly.
Okay.
You can do the Incredible Hulk like super jump.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. So you're literally like jumping over buildings. You can glide later on, but you can't legitimately fly without a plane. But once you can do a super jump and you get superpowers, there's no reason to have a plane. There's no reason to have a car when you have super speed that literally blows through everything else in the game. You don't need it.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, like it's just an interesting design choice that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Would you say that is that a negative? I mean,
no, it's just weird.
Okay.
it's not a negative. It just doesn't make a lot of sense, which is kind of the point of Saints Row 4. They've gotten so far removed from trying to be serious that they don't care anymore. They break their own game.
Let's expand on that. What do you mean? So weapons aren't necessary?
No, weapons are still necessary because you don't get your powers until about, I want to say, a fourth of the way through the game. And even then, like, they're secondary powers. So the first one you get, you can freeze people. And you can run into them with your super speed and shatter them, but there's some enemies that's not going to work. So you're going to have to get your light machine gun or your submachine gun, pistols.
Okay.
The regular fare of weapons are still there, and they're still useful, and you can still upgrade them, and you can customize them now too.
Okay.
And they do a lot of nods to pop culture. So like one of the pistols is called the Rogue, and it's straight up Han Solo's pistol from Star Wars.
All right, that's fun.
Yeah, they have the Decker pistol from Blade Runner.
I like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Any
heavy
any
nods.
Firefly nods?
I don't watch Firefly, so I'm sorry. I don't know.
Moving on.
But the weapons are still cool. And then with the DLC that you get with ReElected, you get crazy weapons like the Patriot, which is it's a machine gun and rocket launcher that when you shoot it, it either makes screaming eagle sounds with the chain gun, or it makes fireworks sounds with the rocket launcher.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
they add a bunch of crazy stuff.
This sounds fun and crazy.
I can't remember. There's a baseball bat that's actually a rectal examiner.
Yes, I saw that
Yeah,
in one of the few videos that I saw. Yes.
I don't know if the shark gun is in 4 or in 3. It's nuts. It's
Okay.
completely and totally insane, and it's great.
But it's nice that you're not completely running around like freezing or putting people on fire. That those still are relevant.
Yeah, guns are still relevant.
When you said like superhero, I thought like, oh, you're just Thor, Captain America, and the Human Torch all combined, and you don't even need weapons.
No, you do.
Okay.
Yeah, you still need weapons. The thing is, I'm gonna jump ahead. Let's talk about the visuals, because that kind of comes into play with the gameplay.
Next on the docket, let's hear it.
Because I think now it's important to kind of look at a port in comparison to the other ports that came out.
Right, the remastered compared to remastered.
Yeah, so if we're going to compare this game that came out on the Xbox 360 and now comes out on the Xbox and PlayStation 4,
Yep.
we should compare it to other games that came out on the Xbox 360 and now comes out on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, right?
Right.
Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the bar has been set with Grand Theft Auto 5 as far as graphics.
Yeah, I would put The Last of Us in that category
Okay.
too.
Either way, both of those games really updated the graphics.
Epic. Yeah.
Okay. Saints Row.
Really.
It does not.
Glitchy?
A lot of popping.
Okay.
A lot of popping when you're coming in. And also, first off, I have to give it to Deep Silver, because this is one of the first games where I put it in and there wasn't a day one.
Okay.
No. Okay, and one of the other games that's a port, if it's a port on a 360 and you're just porting over the game in DLC, it should pretty much work on a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. It's been out for a year. You should be able to just put it in.
We're looking at you, Master Chief Collection.
We're looking at you, Sleeping Dogs. That was terrible.
I haven't touched that yet.
That was bad.
That's too bad.
That game does not that game's broken.
But
unless you play it.
You and I love the original. Right?
I really liked it.
Okay.
However, it wasn't playable unless you got the day one patch on PlayStation 4, because when you take a turn, whenever you hit the ground, there's a 5-second pause. It has to calculate the trajectory of your car.
Oof.
And when you're going into a turn on a turnpike that's 20 feet above ground level and there's no chain link fence to hold you in on the street, you're going to fly off into the ocean. And it happened numerous times. It's terrible. So thank you, Deep Silver, and
not doing
Volition
that. Okay.
for putting out a working title when it comes out without a patch.
Right.
Unfortunately, it doesn't look good. It looks like the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 version.
So did they get lazy?
Maybe.
They rush it. Maybe Deep Silver wanted it rushed. No, I mean this was 2013 we're talking about.
This is a year and a half ago. I don't know why.
You're right.
Why it
You're
doesn't
right.
look even remotely better.
Yeah, you might be right with what you said initially with the funding.
And it doesn't even look as good as the PC version of the game that came out a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
It hasn't. It doesn't look good, and there's constantly stuff popping in. Textures are popping in the distance, and you can see them, and it's irritating.
Right. That's something you can clean up.
And how that comes into play with gameplay is it's still the exact game from the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. So player count is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Your enemy count during Mayhem is the same. Nothing has been improved.
What was the Mayhem thing?
Mayhem is when they throw people at you.
Oh, okay.
Survival.
Oh,
basically.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You have survival, and then you have Mayhem, where you're trying to cause as much destruction, and as you cause destruction, please come to stop you, which makes more destruction.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. And it looks exactly the same. It's really disappointing because shadows still look like trash.
Dang.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, no. So it's not worth the money. Unless they fix that. Well, and even at this point, would they be able to fix that?
They should. Yeah. Like it should have already been fixed. Yeah. It should already look better than it does.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't. So we have to take that into account. So if you're really into graphics and you want this to be the best Saints Row experience, don't get it on console.
Okay.
Get the PlayStation or the PC version, because PC still looks better than PlayStation 4 as far as this game's concerned. But for gameplay, it still holds up. And they still do really good and interesting things. Like Saints Row does this excellent job where it knows it's a video game and it breaks itself.
Right.
And it'll break the fourth wall in a way that's not wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like they don't stop the gags and be like, "Hey, isn't that funny? We're a video game."
Oh, right.
They just carry it on. It's part of the thing.
Like with the Han Solo pistol.
Like the Han Solo pistol. The best example is during that first opening scene. Like I'm not going to spoil anything later in the game, but if it's in the first 30 minutes, just
you know it's coming, right?
Yeah. So in the first 30 minutes of the game, there's a lot of QuickTime events.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
So and as I'm playing it, I'm like, I hate QuickTime events. These are so stupid. Like, after doing them numerous times, I don't want to do it anymore.
Oh, I know. Our opinions of that are different.
So they do it numerous times during this action scene, and you don't like it. And then they shift you off into the Matrix, and it's a 1950s Leave It to Beaver experience where they're trying to make you not violent anymore. So they have QuickTime events for eating pancakes.
Okay.
But the best one, the one that just really, like, it's in your face of they know you hate QuickTime events now,
right,
and they're in on the gag that everyone hates QuickTime events, is you leave the house, you go to pick up a newspaper, and it's hit X to pick up the newspaper. But it's not just hit X, it's the button mash of you, like, reaching for this newspaper on the ground, and your hand is shaking, and at that point in time, it's like, okay, they're in on the gag. Yeah. They don't like them either. This has been leading up to this.
Well, you would say maybe they even were on the gag when they did like 15 of them.
Yeah. And it's brilliant. Like, they do a lot of that stuff. So if you're looking for a fun game, go ahead and pick it up.
Right.
If you haven't played it before, pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I might have to, though, but yeah, that's pretty disappointing about the graphics. What about everything? What about sound and music?
Soundtrack still holds up.
Good.
The radio is still awesome to listen to.
Yeah, because I know that is a big thing in GTA, and well, it doesn't sound like this is much of a GTA comparison anymore, but
as far as radio is concerned, they're direct comparisons.
Oh, okay.
Because they have pretty much the same kind of setup where you have a radio announcer for each channel, and then they have modern music, classical music, all of that. Like they do really interesting stuff with that, where the alien invader is the DJ for the classical channel because he really likes classical music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then if you've paid attention to like the series beforehand, like the straight edge news reporter Jane Valderrama, she is the DJ for the dubstep channel, which does not fit her character at all from Saints Row 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
So it's another gag for the long listeners. Like, if you've played Saints Row 1, 2, and 3 and you haven't played Saints Row 4 yet for some reason, you should really pick this game up because there is a lot of fan service in this game.
Okay. So, but as a new player, I would still enjoy it and have fun with it. I would just have to tolerate the graphics. You're
going to have to tolerate the graphics. Don't come into this looking for Last of Us or GTA 5 fidelity because you're not going to get it.
Well, that's all right. We talked previously that I'm still a big fan of State of Decay, even though the graphics weren't great, but the gameplay was fantastic. So, we touched on it earlier. You said something about the silliness of it is just, is it too over the top?
Nope.
Okay, just right.
Yeah, especially if you played 2 and 3, because then you see the escalation of it. And this isn't like a review; we're just talking about.
Well,
it.
Yeah,
there'll be a review coming out later. This is just kind of my first impressions of it because I haven't beaten it yet.
And then in comparison to GTA, then it's
way over the top from GTA. They're not even in the same category anymore. They're not remotely similar.
It's interesting of where we started with and how it like wandered off into 2 separate divisions. Although
they kind of had to.
Right. Yeah, and GTA, I think a lot of people liked the heists and they liked that Trevor dude and he was crazy enough for the game, but not to the silliness, like unrealistic factor that this one has, that Saints Row now has.
Yeah.
So cool. All right, so anything else?
Yeah,
30 hours, you said?
Yeah, you're expecting about 30 hours. It's going to be more with the DLC. One thing to keep
How's that?
I haven't played it yet because I never got the DLC for the original one, so I'm not going to touch that. I will say that the DLC does not happen, like it doesn't become unlocked until about a third of the way through the game.
Okay.
Because I was really concerned.
A little bit.
Yeah, I was really concerned that like did they just forget to give me a helmet here, and then once a big event happens, it's like, hey, welcome to the ReElected edition. Everything's unlocked. The store's open.
Oh,
it's like, okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you. Because I was really concerned for a second.
Yeah, I could see that.
Also, one thing that I want to touch on here is the Gat Out of Hell is DLC.
Let's hear that.
So we're not going to talk about it. I'm just because that's a completely separate game.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
it's two standalone.
It is a standalone game. So even if you get the box, it's a download code inside the box. So if you buy this game used, you're probably not going to get Gat Out of Hell. Okay, if you are picking this up like as a second hand from a friend, you're probably not going to get out.
No,
it's a separate add-on. It's going to be 7 gigabytes on the PlayStation 4. Oof. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that so that people know what they're getting into.
Right. That is kind of that happens with the used copy. So I'll have to weigh my options if I get a used copy then.
Yep, so one thing I want to try here is like instead of a review score for first impressions, we're going to do a buy, try, or skip.
Yes, absolutely.
So like in this is the first one that we're really dealing with the new format.
Well, yeah, I mean, what would you... But it's appropriate because it sounds like you would say to at least try it.
Yeah.
Especially for me, who hasn't even dabbled in the series, that wants something fun and silly and almost casual to some degree.
Yes.
Where you made it sound like, yeah, it's 27, 30 hours, but it's a lot of superhero nonsense. So
yeah, and it's not going to be extremely hard. It's not a hard game. It's just fun. It's a casual game.
Right.
Perfect way to say it. So I'd say try it at least, and I'd say it doesn't matter what system you get it on because there's probably not going to be any graphical difference between all four of them.
Yeah, that's a big bummer.
Except for the PC is probably going to look a lot better because I know that the Saints Row 4 already looked a lot better than what we have on the PS4 a year and a half ago.
So then if you're a hardcore fan, PC, probably buy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get away with getting a 360 or a PS3 version, and if you have a console, I'd say $10.
Okay, maybe I'll do that because I still have the 360.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Anything else?
No, that's it. Yeah, I'd say at least give it a shot. Try it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I think I will be doing that shortly.
Cool.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the upcoming content.
Oh yeah, we got some more stuff coming down the pipe.
Thank you much.
Cool. Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
Bye now.